Welcome back to another Hot Dabs podcast presented live in Viva Colombia for an official Copa del Caribbean recap. I'm here with Black Tuna co-founder Carlos Vives Jr., the mastermind, the visionary behind the entire event that brings the culture back to Colombia, back to the place where people still care about it. Carlos, thanks for having us here today.
Brother, thank you for having me. Thank you for having my brother. Thank you for coming to Colombia. I don't have any words. Since we first met in Mexico and everything, like it's just been a nonstop trip for all of us. You know, you've been nonstop. Also me and Mauro's been nonstop also worldwide. So it's actually a pleasure and for you to have been able to make it. You know, we've been trying to make this happen for a couple months and to get your whole team here and this was it was a mission, but we got it. So thank you for coming and thank you for shining a light literally on the stories that on the untold stories.
The untold stories that today are going to be told as much as we can. Now, we're coming from a remote location, a secret location, and an only place you can get to is if you come visit Colombia next year. This is the Sesh on the beach, the after party to the Copa del Caribbean Cup. And today we're going to be shining a light, like Carlos just mentioned, on Colombia, on the culture here, on the brands, the passionate individuals that make up South America and make America, North and South together, such a epicenter of genetics and of high quality procedures. Now today we're going to be taking an inside look at some brands that are founded and grown in Colombia themselves. Like you just mentioned, we're joined by Mauricio today, the founder and owner of Colombia Exotics, one of the best brands, not just in Colombia, but worldwide. In the world, worldwide, right? You've competed in the Ego Clash and top 5 in the world, correct?
Top 4.
Top 4 in the world. Yeah. So Mauricio, thank you for joining us today. Carlos, you want to shine a light on the culture. So you said you're going to get out of here. You're going to let your boy Phoenician come through. Big Meech is going to be Espanol translator.
Big
okay.
Meech.
But first, I think Carlos, you need to take a rip before you leave.
Yeah, and I just want to leave you guys with. I'm going to leave you guys with 2 of my best friends from the South American scene. 2 of the people that believe in me and support me just as much as Dustin now is part of my family.
Cheers.
Mine didn't heat up, but it's all good.
Carlos got a no temp. I got a 2 hot temp. Mine was about 800. I got no dab right. The humidity is 100 degrees.
He sucked all the fucking heat from mine, bro. Like, he just, whoa.
There's a new feature we've been talking about. You can use 2 phones and copy and paste just by transferring over. The same thing is possible with the nails.
Yes.
The smoke from Carlos just transferred over to mine. Now, if you notice, you're saying, this guy looks like he's got some dab sweats. Yes, no shit. It's 100% humidity, okay? I'm drenched in my sweat, but we're going to make it work. If the electronics go out due to the water, we're sorry. Carlos? No, we're not going to let you go out like that. Let's heat them up.
We're going to heat me up.
Yep.
In the meantime, I'm going to drop some knowledge. I have no voice. It's been a week of missions, but yeah, bro. This shit can't get any better than this.
Carlos, while you're here, why don't you just tell us a little bit about
marimberos and everything?
No, what made you throw this cup? Like, why are we even all here? Why did you care to bring everybody to your backyard? A beautiful backyard.
Bro, so for us, it's been a mission for many years. You know, like the culture and the politics, they've never let us do anything. They've been super hard on us, like even way more harsh than United States laws that I'm used to, like, you know, since I'm from Miami for a long time. And Miami was like, you could even have a roach in the car. You go to jail for a day or 2 days and you're written up for life, right?
Mm-hmm.
But here in Colombia, it was like that. We just lived in common fear since we were a producer nation. We got way more lash, you know, way more harsh punishment for even working with cannabis, right? So now, since 2017, I come back from Bogota from working with a family, structures, and I realize this world is ready. It's ready to go to another, the same level that we take it in the United States, the same level we take it worldwide. So, and even better because it's from here, you know, like a great part of the history. It's like not having a wine festival in Argentina or not having a wine festival in Sonoma County. You know, it's like you got to do it.
Yeah, and you have brought a good point up because the Colombian culture has been raising the bar when it comes to their quality control. A lot of people look at America, California in specific, as kind of the forefront of the epicenter of quality and genetics, but people have been doing it way before California. They talk about the landrace strains from our first podcast out here, so it is beautiful to see the culture kind of acclimating to the rest of the world and trying to compete against it. You know, bringing the best. You brought out some of the best competitors from around the world to compete against the locals, and I just think it does a great job of improving the culture, because the more that you can open them up to the experience of what's out there, the more everybody can learn from each other. You know, everything that I've noticed here has been a very open and caring environment, and it seems like everybody has the best intentions. We talk about intentions a lot because in this industry, sometimes people do things for like false motives, you know. They'll say they're doing it for the culture or for the plant, but it's really all for the profits. And one thing specifically about this competition and this event is it's not about the money. They specifically put in more money than they make to make an experience for the people.
And we made it a foundation to prove it, transparency.
And it was amazing. And I just want to say thank you. Carlos is going to be joining us throughout the night. We're losing daylight, but we're going to make the most out of all this. We are live from a secret location. If you come next year to Colombia, you can partake in this secret location. The boats will pull you right up. If you're lucky, you might catch the sunset with us. Jump on the podcast. Carlos, thank you. We're going to bring in Phoenician now. Do you want to introduce your boy Phoenician?
Yeah, so from Ecuador, one of the best friends that also my great friend Mauro introduced me. He's been one of the persons who has taken us out of our cave and brought us to light, right? So Mauro has taken me to the first time to my ego clash. He's taken us to my first Dabadoos. He's taken us to the first Rio Cups here in Colombia. So we owe a lot to what we do today to him because he's part of this, you know. He's part of that leveling up that he's like, hey, bro, we're ready for this, you know? And he showed it first himself, and then now the rest of the generations are showing their work, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now our big friend Big Meech is also a person that, you know, they're 1 hour away, 2 hours away by car, right? So because that's the Ecuador-Colombia border, which is Pasto.
Yeah, 1 hour.
So he introduced Meech to me. And now Meech runs the best cup in Ecuador, not probably the only cup in Ecuador, and the best one in Ecuador, and one of the best ones in South America, which is the cup of the center of the world, right? Because they're in Ecuador, they're the center of the world.
And we're going to find out all about that. So Carlos, thank you for connecting those dots. Thank you for having us all here, hosting us, and we'll hear from you soon. All right, we're back with Phoenician Farms. Now, Big Meech is going to help us translate a little bit from Mauricio, Colombia, exoticz. You saw what we did in Mexico with the first ever Hot Dabs Espanol. This is going to be somewhat of a hybrid of that. So Big Meech, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, bro.
Now, my first question for you guys, you can continue to heat up. Yeah, we'll be able to hear this.
Like,
Ours is heating up in the Cobra coil. My first question is, how did you guys meet each other? And what makes you so passionate about cannabis in your respective countries? Because you're in Ecuador and you're in Colombia, correct? But not far from each other, right?
Yeah. Actually, it's not that far. It's like 6 hours driving.
Oh, that is kind of far though.
Yeah. But
so
because
close.
my city is like the last city like in Colombia, no?
Really? Okay.
So it's like near Ecuador, near to the frontier.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. Actually, we met each other in a cannabis cup in Medellin.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't realize
true,
they had one
Medellin.
out there.
Yeah, and so
Some
you
cup.
know, you always connect with and vibe with
2020 was?
2020, yeah. I think it was 2020, and he had some amazing hash. So you know, we got attracted.
And
We
were
saw
you
the
already growing at that point as well?
Yeah, that's why we came to Colombia. You know, since we're neighbors. So basically, the community in Ecuador is growing up. We had a changes in 2019 with the laws. We had some. They changed the law and we're able to have like a licensed farm with a less than 1% THC, so we can grow basically CBD legally with a licensed farm, export, and you can have final product also.
Okay.
So basically, it's a first step to legalization, you know. And yeah, most of the growers they grow for their own. It's not like Colombia. It's a little bit more advanced. People can grow 20 plants in Colombia, you know, legally.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
how many can they grow in Ecuador?
in Ecuador, we don't have something.
No
We
legal
don't have
program.
something mentioned in the law. Something it's not clear. There's a loophole.
Like a gray area.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, everyone take a risk drawing their own. It's
Mhm.
still. But since we have the CBD, you have a lot of also loopholes to get away of a lot of things.
Of course.
And as I said, this is like a step for legalization.
Yeah, it's all small steps. Now, you mentioned he already had some great hash in 2020.
Yeah.
When did you start making hash? How long have you been growing and making hash?
Bro, I'm starting like 10 years ago.
Like decade ago.
Yeah.
So how old were you then?
Like 22.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm actually 32. Yeah.
And was it hard
So-
finding resources in Colombia to start your grows?
Really, yes. That's what the first reason. So I was living there in California,
Okay.
in Santa Rosa.
Mm-hmm.
So I was with some people like they teach me like how like grow weed. So I was working with them, smoking good weed.
Yeah.
That time was the shotted dabs.
Yeah. So BHO
So-
days.
Yeah, exactly. So I know like how in that time learn like how make it the shotted.
The concentrate. Yeah.
See,
The BHO. Yeah.
Yes. So then I just lost my visa, so I need to come back to Colombia. When I come back to Colombia, I just see like in Colombia we don't have like no any product, like no good flowers, no any resin,
Mhm.
no like nothing. In Colombia, nobody knows, so just a few people.
I was
they
gonna
know.
say the people don't even really know it's out
No,
there. Huh?
exactly.
Yeah.
So in that time for me was like no, we need the same thing like they have over there,
Mhm.
and we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We have like 12 seasons, so we can make like a 5 times year harvest.
Mm-hmm. And you were mentioning that is the same in Ecuador, correct?
The same in Ecuador.
So anytime you put anything outside, it's immediately going into flower.
Exactly.
So you can propagate all year round inside and just keep shuffling outside
Exactly.
directly into flower.
Yeah.
So that's an
greenhouse, like
amazing
the-
environment
Yeah.
and a tropical environment too. The humidity is something to take it into. How does the humidity
Actually, in Colombia we have different weather, no?
environments, correct,
Yeah.
depending on where you're at?
Right now
yeah.
we are in Santa Marta, so it's different. It's like so humid.
Yes.
But in Pasto, it's like the same like Ecuador, like the Quito, like Michelle's live.
Mhm.
3,000
Like the same-
meters.
So
above
the
sea.
elevation helps to
elevation.
alleviate those humidity issues.
He lives under a volcano. In Pasto, my
Really?
city, we live under a volcano.
No, really,
Yes,
yeah.
that's-
Yes.
That's
And do you think that, have you ever grown with your native soil or are you guys having to use the soil blends?
No, we grow with the native soil.
Really?
It's very rich
Yeah,
since
I
you have the volcano erupted
Yeah, so it makes
before,
good soil.
so this makes like
Mhm.
you have a lot of nutrients inside the soil, and actually the soil is one of the best. So
So this is fantastic. So you wanted to bring the culture back to Colombia. You knew you could do it. And it's amazing to see that because sometimes people, it takes a vision and it takes maybe one person and then one person hanging out with a group of passionate individuals to really change everything, you know?
Yeah.
And then we look at where we're at today with some of the best brands in the world coming out to compete. It just
That's true,
shows
brother.
that Colombia really is on the map and it is an epicenter of importance when it comes to not just genetics, but the quality of things. So what is your goal next when it comes to establishing this market? What are you guys trying to do down here?
really like that question I was thinking in like 2 years ago what I need to do in Colombia for make this,
Mm-hmm.
and this we are making for happen really.
So you had this vision and now
Yeah.
it's coming true.
And yeah, you are here, like people like we appreciate it, like we see like maybe in Instagram like oh maybe someday like we need to bring to these people to Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
So and right now we are making this. So for
Yeah.
Colombia, this is history, and yeah, we are doing. No?
we
So-
want to show people Latin America also has talents, you
Mhm.
know, and wanna be loud also.
Mm-hmm.
You know, since up north, you know, in California, everything is being like, let's say, they took a larger step than like they took a larger step than us, so we had to step, and we had to show the world like we're also passionate for making strains, for doing hash, and you know, I think Mauricio dedication and the way he works, with all the details. I think I think this is like it's something like you can't find it with any grower or with any hash makers.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, if we have the chance to prove it and to show it to the world, this is the message for us. We want to show the work for all growers and for all hash makers.
That you can show that you can compete with anybody in the world. Yes, all it takes is passion and dedication to your craft, you know, and you can do it.
Exactly.
What temp you at? Did I get you hot enough?
No, it's 640.
Oh, perfect.
So that's fine.
Whenever you want.
No.
It might be a little warm. You might. But speaking of quality, we failed to mention you just won second place, correct? Yesterday in the indoor category at the Colombia Cup, correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Tell us a little bit about that. Was hot, right?
That was
super
so
hot. Here,
super
scoop
hot.
a bunch more, buddy. The name of this show is Hot Dabs.
That was
Here you
so
go.
hot.
So now we're bringing our culture to Colombia and we're sharing the hot dabs. That caliente, you know? If you're gonna fucking give me this humidity, I'm gonna give you that in the banger.
Ooh,
So
that's
tell us a
good.
little bit about your second place. What was the genetics that you entered? And you grew it in Ecuador, correct?
Yes, actually, it's. I want to give also a big credit for my partner and my best friend. Also, he's a big engineer, and yeah, I don't think someone. His name is Pepe.
Shout out Pepe.
And yes, hey Pepe. So
Hashtag hey Pepe.
so basically, I don't think someone like invested like we invested actually, and like he invested with all the works and the details we had in our grow, and that's why we had the chance and to prove this genetic. Actually, I've been working in a different genetics. You know, I'm from Lebanon.
Yeah.
So I bring some Lebanese landrace.
That's
Since
amazing.
they are a little, I like plants that they stretch, and they are like resistant to plugs.
But
So
they
I-
take a long time to finish, right?
They take a long time to finish.
But you
if
have the patience for it, yeah.
we have the patience, but if you crossbreed them with other variety,
Yeah,
you can
bring it back.
stabilize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically it's a crossbreed between banana OG papaya from Masonic Seeds.
Shout out Big Meech, straight
And,
from Compton to Colombia.
Yes, sir. And red Lebanese hash plant and mandarin cookies from Ethos Genetics.
Ethel Genetics, is that
Yeah,
where
from Colorado, from Denver.
they? Okay.
Yeah, and we cross it with a Phoenician cut sprids.
Okay, so
It
that's
was-
the land race?
No, the
No.
sprids it's from Perfect Tree Seeds from Spain.
Okay.
I think it was Mimosa for Jet A.
Okay.
So basically, this is the crossbreed, and it's like a really tangy smoke, and like with a hit of like a gassy, sweety terp. And I love this genetic because with Pepe, with my friend, we did we study it, and it's like a 7-week genetic.
7-week flower?
Yeah, it's like a high yield
That's
also,
not bad, yeah.
and you know very terpy, and so it's
So did you pheno hunt it yourself? Select it from seed?
yes,
Yeah.
we pheno hunted, selected from seeds, and then with my partner develop it in the grow.
That's amazing, man. And that's the best
So-
part about the adventure in popping seeds is you never know when you're gonna find the next best thing, you know, or the next award-winning cultivar.
That's true. That's
Right?
true. And to be honest with you, it's very rare to find the seeds that you want. Like sometimes you say like this is what I want, but it's
You actually
it
grow
take-
the seeds and they don't turn out like the
and-
mother or father.
exactly,
Yeah, like
and
the
it
best
take time,
qualities.
so-
Yeah. All right. Now, Mauricio, you're growing in Colombia. Have you guys noticed that there's any certain genetics that are more resistant to the climate that you're in? You both mentioned you're in elevation,
Yes.
so you don't have to deal with humidity. Is there anything specific that you do look for when you're looking at genetics?
No, but we have like so high humidity too.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, our city is cold, but it's a rainy city.
So all the water.
Yeah,
and
so
then
we have
environment.
water, we
Yeah.
have like everything. We have a mold sometimes in plants, so you need to keep like watch out everything like before to harvest, no? Because that's the that's a good thing for the quality of the
The genetics,
extraction.
yeah, and the genetics.
And the genetics,
yeah,
exactly.
because if it's the wrong genetics in the wrong environment, you're just gonna be uphill battle, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
what are
true.
some of your favorite genetics to work with down here?
Actually, when I started in Colombia, I just bring some genetics from California. So all my friends like they give it to me. So I make like my crosses over there. So I do like because was difficult for
To do the breeding here?
yeah to do breeding here in that time. So I just started like just for seeds, no?
Yeah, so you would bring the cuts back with you and just propagate clones?
No, I
Oh,
just
you
bring
bring
the
seeds.
seeds,
Oh, you
and I
did.
need to bring like a new cross,
Yeah.
for make new seeds again, more seeds.
So
and
you
then
constantly make your crosses.
yeah, exactly. So
Now, do you
so-
prefer that though? Because it helps you kind of have genetics or selections that aren't everywhere else on the market?
yes, brother. So yeah, so that's why okay we started in that time with that genetics, and then we just started working with ABF genetics with Carlos. We have the diamond runs cut.
And I saw some of the diamond runs this weekend, and it's amazing.
Yeah, that one we won some cups in Colombia, in Chile, and in Barcelona.
And did he give you that cut, or did you guys hunt seeds from him?
No, we got it with the cut. Yeah,
Yeah.
with the seeds.
Yeah,
we
you got the
find we,
seed-
ha-
yeah,
we find the cut.
exactly.
Yeah. Someday Carlos just called me and then call me and say me like, hey, I have these phenos from the diamond runs. Just help me like to see like which
Selection is the best.
selection is the best, like
Exactly.
which pheno is those or seed or
Mhm.
flavor, no? So yeah, we see like the number 4 was like the best one, like
Fire
the flavor,
herbs,
like the really
yeah.
like the runs flavor, no?
Yeah.
So yeah, we start then.
Oh shit! Thank you.
Yeah, it's a championship.
Yeah,
variety.
so we keep it like 2 years working.
hmm
I can keep it like just the moms and making clones, and then just like yeah, we just trying to
Have you bred
put
with
it
that?
in. Huh?
Have you used that to breed yet?
Yes,
Yeah.
we do like some like few crosses with some like fire genetics from California too.
Mhm.
Some of my friends to give it to me, yeah, and we're just working on that. No, we don't have like the space to have like so many
Huge
flavors.
growth.
Yeah, but
You gave me a strain.
I gave it to you.
Lemon
Yeah,
Skittles
cross
times
diamond runs. Yeah,
Yeah,
lemon
and we
skittles was
also-
from Surefire Selection.
I know Surefire. He's
Yeah.
in the county below me in
Yeah.
Sonoma. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned you worked with Jerry from
With
Valley
Jerry,
Grove.
yeah, with Jerry
Shout out
too.
Jerry. When you see the V to
Yeah.
the G, you know it's fire.
Yeah, with Jerry, with Norway Gardens, with Cornhusker Cowboys. They teach me like how like grow like good weed.
Yeah.
So I just every time see them like how they have like good flowers
Yeah.
in that time because
Yeah.
they have a good flowers in that time. So for me was like really no, I need to grow that in Colombia.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're trying to.
You are doing it.
Yeah,
you
right
guys
now,
crush
yeah.
it, you know? You could show your jars beside California jars and nobody could tell the difference. It's absolutely beautiful how far everything has come as far as the quality, you know? And the difference in the genetics that are selected down here. Sometimes when you go into certain regions, people all want the same flavor or they don't have access to other strains like you
Strains.
guys are
Other
working
flavors.
with. Land races specifically, you know?
Mhm.
Especially if you don't travel, you don't even may know what's out there, you know? So
That's
it's
true.
important that we share our cultures with each other so people can really take the plant to its truest potential because the more we all work together, you know, I want to share our genetics with you guys and compare this same exact phenotype grown in Colombia versus America, you know?
America, yeah.
So this time next year, if you guys are coming out, maybe you'll get to try one of our collaborations, our
Whoa.
genetics grown by them, extracted down here, you know? You guys can enter it in the cup next year.
Yep.
So you're getting a sneak preview here first. Guys, thanks for joining us. If people want to follow along, if they want to see what you're doing, how can they stay in touch with you?
I'm in Instagram like Colombia exoticz,
Underscore.
exoticz 2.2
Okay.
because Instagram, you know, they just
We're
close,
getting
like,
deleted
so
all
many
the time,
accounts.
guys.
Yeah, that's my 4 or 6 accounts.
Jesus.
Yeah, so
We're going to have the IG right here, so it's going to pop up. And how about you? Best way to stay in touch?
Well, you can follow us with the Phoenician Farm Seeds.
Mm-hmm.
And also you can follow us on the page of the Cannabis Cup. We're throwing a Cannabis Cup also.
And it's next month, so this episode's going to be dropping. So you guys are only going to have a couple weeks to book your tickets and go to Ecuador, because what's going down? It's the center of the world, right?
Yeah, the center of the world, the Cannabis Cup and Squash Off. It's
Mhm.
gonna be in the capital in Quito, in Ecuador.
In Quito, Ecuador, guys. So if you're trying to come down and see what this culture is all about, it is the literal center of the world.
The first or the second Squash Off and Cup together for the first time in Ecuador, and the first time we're going to have international people, like they are active in the cannabis scene.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, everyone in Ecuador, all the community is waiting for that, and waiting to see the good, the fire, the good samples.
Yeah.
You know?
And we may be coming back with you guys for a recap from that in 3 weeks, so stay tuned. But for now, go follow at Colombia exoticz 2.0, maybe 3.0. You never fucking know.
2.2.
2.2, exactly. And we're going to drop it below. Phoenician Farms. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you for everything you do
brother.
down here. It's a pleasure, you know?
Thank
I
you, bro.
appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you,
brother.
We're back, and now we are joined by a Colombian American. You were born where?
Barranquilla, Colombia.
Barranquilla, Colombia, just down the block from Carlos. And you moved to the same place Carlos did, Miami, Florida.
Sir.
Let's welcome Marco, founder of Genuine Melts. Thanks for joining us, Marco.
Thanks for having me, D.
Now, Marco has been taking care of us. If you've noticed the mothership on the table, that was supplied by him. He also had these glass blowers. These are local glass blowers here in the center. This is Medellin Mafia, and this is CAD Glass. So shout out the local glass blowers. Just as the hash scene has emerged in Colombia with the flower scene, so too has the glass artistry. And it's just beautiful to see the local artists on display. So Marco, thanks for joining us today. Will you tell us a little bit about what Genuine Melts is and what got you into this world we call cannabis?
Well, I started growing over 10 years ago back in Florida, doing closet grows. It was just a passion of mine, you know.
What part of Florida?
Miami.
Okay. Oh yeah, I'm an idiot. Yeah,
In the heart of Miami, and yeah.
So was
then,
it hard? Like, were you in the inner city setting up these grows?
Yeah,
It's tough
well,
moving equipment and shit around, right?
Of course, yeah. So we had to keep it small, you know, always watching our every step, because we couldn't even, there wasn't even shops back then, like hydro shops or grow shops, and you had to
Order everything?
yeah, basically like order everything, or like just get smart and figure it out, you know. Like we even took street lights from Home Depot and just like retrofitted them and just retrofitted them to like work in
They were bright enough to grow
with. Yeah, man. Yeah,
That's
because,
hilarious. There's just no
street
access to
lights-
grow lights.
Well, street lights are HPS lights. They're high
Oh,
pressure
okay.
sodium.
So if you can pull those bitches off the poles,
Yeah,
you can put them in your garage.
You know, they sell in Home Depot. They sell security lights. They sell HPS lights.
And they're high enough wattage for you guys.
Yeah, it was 600 watts. You know, so
Yeah, not
that was
bad.
good enough to at least grow whatever you can in your closet. You know?
Yeah.
And it was Florida, so you had to keep it small.
Mm-hmm.
You know, watch out for smell. So, you know, you didn't want to go to jail. So.
So what was it like starting out back then? Were you always growing for hash and extracts, or did you grow for just flower at first?
Nah, it's been a ride. It's been an evolution. So I started growing just for flower. I was passionate about the flower. You know how it goes. We all start smoking and we look for the best. So we want to grow it ourselves and we want to put it in our own pocket. So we go ahead and grow it and take chances, take risks, put our lives at risk just to grow the plant that we're so passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
Just started small grows, small closet grows, then moved out to Colorado back in 2013 when it legalized recreational, and upgraded to basement grows. And that's when, you know,
So when you went to Colorado, you had full access to all the equipment for the first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, everything just at the disposal of just driving down the street to one of 100 grow stores that were popping up at the time, right?
Correct, yeah.
So how did that change your innovation as far as your expertise? Did the access to new equipment take you to a new level, or did
I think it did, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I started, thank you, appreciate
Torch, please.
it. Torch.
Thank you, sir.
I started basically learning new trades.
Because if you're a grower, you're not just a grower, you know?
you're-
You're a janitor, you can be a carpenter, you know, you
Sir.
might need to be a salesman, a marketer, you know? We have to
Electrical,
wear a lot of hats, yeah.
HVAC, you know.
HVAC, plumbing.
plumbing, building. So I started small. I started getting pretty good at building rooms.
started building my own rooms from scratch. So designing them from scratch. Good.
I don't know if this is
not working.
working.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
let's see. This is what happens sometimes. Humidity, huh?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Oh, there it
there's
is.
you,
There it is.
yeah.
You got it, you got
All
it.
right, go
Yeah,
ahead.
brother.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, then it was it evolved into basement grows. We went from 1 to 2 lights to 16, 30.
And back then, was it limited to the plant count that you could have? Or were you just kind
Yeah,
of like
it was
going for it?
well, it was limited, but
Yeah.
we would go for it.
Yeah.
So whatever we could do, we made it work. Back then, you could get your extended plant count, your EPCs, and play with the limits that you had.
You could be caregivers too for other people, right?
Caregivers
Yeah.
too for other people. At one point, we had the 99 plant count as a caregiver.
And that's
but
crazy in Denver,
Yeah,
90
very
because in
crazy.
Mendocino 99, we were throwing them all outside as big monsters, but in Denver, you were just packing basements and
Basements.
garages,
Exactly. So, yeah, it went from that to the flower packs to making extracts. Started with BHO, made slabs in my garage, like open blasting. Um, Moved on to closed loop systems. Then from the closed loop systems, it went from like the whole diamond era to now rosin. Like the
Yeah, we've
solventless
seen the whole
era.
evolution.
Yeah.
And it's funny because hash solventless was kind of one of the first purest forms, and especially one of the first extracts that was ever exported around the world. When you see the coffee shops all smoking hashish, Moroccan hash, Lebanese hash.
Dry sieve.
Exactly.
Yep.
And now to see it come full circle and solventless become kind of the hype again, it's funny, but it is amazing because it is, in all of our regard, the best, right? That's why we create it and that's why we smoke it, because it is, in our opinion, the best,
Yeah,
'Cause we went through, like you mentioned, the shatter era, the BHO era, but at some point in all of our journey, as you continue to be exposed to higher quality and more culture, we've all just come to the conclusion that solventless
Yep.
is the best.
Yeah. In that time, some of my friends, he started like making like just a dry sieve, and then with the hair strainer.
Yeah,
Yeah. He just started
Squishing
pressing
it with that.
squishing with the coffee filter.
exactly.
So he just teach me like how making that time.
Yeah.
So I was like making with some like indoor flowers.
Yeah.
And
Sift
making
rosin.
like wow,
Yeah.
was bro like clear.
Yeah.
Like shutterbug.
Exactly.
Solvent.
I had the same experience. I went to Colorado actually on one of my first trips from Pennsylvania. I started flying out to try to make connections, and this guy did the sift, but he would do static sift, so it was beautiful heads. But then he would press it with a T-shirt press really quick, and it would turn it into like a straight shatter. And that was the first time we dabbed that stuff, and it blew our minds,
Yeah, sure.
But obviously that's a labor of love, Static sift is a lot of
Like,
work. And sometimes, especially now with the innovation of the freeze dryer, it doesn't usually taste, in my opinion, as good as rosin or hash, Because with the ability to dry overnight, you preserve those terps to a comparison that's almost not beatable with sift,
Yeah.
How is the market for sift down here in Colombia? Do people still smoke hashish or?
Not too much,
No.
really. Nah.
And do they roll spliffs like Europe or no?
Yeah, not too many people, but they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
No.
do.
Marco.
But it's not like no Barcelona or
Yeah.
no.
Marco, how did growing up in Colombia and then moving to America, did it affect your taste that you like at all? Like, do you think you have any preferences that are similar more to your homeland? Or did you pick up an acquired taste for the American flavors as you moved?
That's a good question. I don't know if I moved really young to the States, so I don't think it really affected my taste.
Yeah, you didn't have preferences set. Yeah.
But Colombian genetics are doing big things. We've seen amazing quality.
You've been talking
while we
about
were
the
here.
cuts you've been running from Carlos. The Grapples Cross in specific was your entry in the Cup this year.
Actually, the entry in the cup this year was the Toronjas.
Torongas.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a Grapples.
No,
okay.
well, it's Forbidden Apple. Well, the Forbidden Apples is the other one. The
Okay.
Toronjas was the one that we ended up entering. It's a Trop Punch cross. I don't remember.
Atomic
what the other-
Tangerine.
Atomic. There you go. See, he's
Atomic
more
Tangerine.
familiar with the genetics, but I've ran a couple of packs from Black Tuna. Carlos is a very hospitable host, and he's always, letting us try his genetics and things like that. So I've had luck finding, good phenos, good washing phenos, and that's what we're looking for in the owner, you know.
Yeah, it's amazing to see. We talked about how far they've come, but for Americans to be running the genetics in the packs and find keepers, and not just keepers, but good enough selections to enter in competitions, it shows how good the cultivars are down here. And one thing to keep in mind is if you're starting to think about entering these competitions or these circuits in different areas of the world, think about the consumers that's going to be judging you, you know? If you're going to be going against a Caribbean-based or a South American-based or European, the preferences might change, even in America, from a Pacific Northwest to a California to the East Coast, from a gas to a sweet to a pungent, you know, everything has their own preferences. So that's what's kind of cool about the competitive circuit that's being formed with traveling and cups in different places of the world, because we're sharing culture and we're sharing different genetics. And the more that we do that, I think the more that we continue to push the plant. So I appreciate you guys for doing that.
Thank
To
you.
be purveyors of quality and to have this passion for everything that keeps pushing it forward, because without people like you doing especially the pheno hunting, we would have nothing new ever. Every
Yeah.
year it would be the same thing. So without people like you, everything would get stale. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you to Colombia and then the entire culture. Marco, if people want to stay in touch with you, if they want to know how they can get some drops in the future or where you're going to be, how can they do it?
Well, they could just hit up the page on IG, Genuine Melts all together, spell it all out, and you'll get our page, and we'll give you a follow, we'll get you verified, and we can see what we can work out.
Beautiful. At Genuine Melts, you heard it there. All right, we're back with Gato and Carro from Cana Organic, another local Colombian farm. Guys, thanks for joining us today.
Plant is going to feel like better, and we I don't know how to say in English, aprovechamos mucho el sol, los terpenos tropicales.
No tocamos los recursos naturales. Tenemos el mismo invernadero, nos provee el agua.
Okay, that they take advantage of all natural resources. So they try to not abuse of the earth, you know.
So they're working in
very
harmony
green,
with
yes,
nature.
With nature,
yeah.
correct.
And that's amazing, because that's what we try to do too in California. We're sun-grown also and organic. And we've realized sometimes less is more, you know, keep it simple and don't fight the environment, you know, and especially with genetics, you know, grow genetics that are good for your environment. So what are some of the genetics that you guys like to grow here?
A lot of different genetics, because our environment, it helps us a lot to grow really good. We already grow land races and different kind of genetics, like gorilla. I like it a lot.
Gorilla?
Gorilla, gasoline. Some of tangies.
Tangies.
Another one, bananas is so good. I love haze. Haze is in the past, but I love it a lot. Some cheesy things.
Y muy importante, las Landrace colombianas,
It is.
como la Colombian Golden,
Red.
Yeah.
la Punto Rojo,
Exactly.
la Mangovici. Hay una genética distinta aquí en Colombia que se llama el marihuanillo. Lo extinguieron los propios agrónomos al ver que era una planta demasiado invasiva y colonizaba los cultivos de papa y se los comía completamente.
So you said
Okay.
agronomists are from Colombia, some of the best ones?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So like they grow land races that are basically acclimated to the environment.
Exactly. Yeah, and working with your environments with these land races are amazing. It can really take the plant and the genetics to its truest potential, you know, because you're working with nature, you know?
Yes, what we like from that is they are really strong in sickness and bad things
More
because
resilient,
yes,
yeah.
They're more
it's more
resilient to
resistant.
the environment.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and you don't want to have to grow plants that are going to develop mold or not grow good in your environment
Yes,
specifically.
we grow with 100% of humidity because when you put a plant inside, the genetics start to lose their power,
I
you
agree.
know?
It's totally different expressions. We will run the same pheno, so the same exact clone from indoors to sun-grown, and I feel that the sun-grown takes it to the better level. And it may be the spectrum of the sun, or I don't know. It may be just like the connection with nature, like you said.
El
Look,
sol
what
tiene
happened?
betacaroteno, las lámparas
Yes,
no. Tiene
yes.
energía
I don't know how to
pránica
say,
que
but
se
he says
conecta
that
con la tierra.
the sun has properties that we cannot mimic.
Exactly.
And
And the lights
pranic
don't have that.
energy
Yeah.
and about, ¿cómo es que se dice? Se me olvidó.
Y al
Los,
principio,
las microrisas.
Micelium.
Mycelium.
Mycelium.
Because look,
Mycelium.
look what
Yeah, yeah.
happened. We are, I am 44 years, but land have too many years.
10,000,
So it's
20,000.
all the knowledge because myceliums
Yeah, it
connect
retains the
all
knowledge, yeah,
the plants.
the network.
And I think if we grow a plant with the myceliums,
It taps into the
it's
network.
going to have all the power of all the nature, like the sun, with all the vitamins and things like that. And for washing, the heads are bigger, so I like it a lot.
I agree. So that's a good point you just brought up, because one thing we've talked about is when we run the same phenotype from indoor compared to our sun-grown yields more.
Yes.
So we get better yields and usually better heads. And like you said, it's usually because of that sun connection, you know?
Yes.
Es que es como tener un niño en una pipeta, una probeta,
Una incubadora.
en
Una
una incubadora y tener es lo mismo el indoor. El indoor salvó las plantas cuando querían extinguirlas, ¿cierto? Pero nunca va a reemplazar la luz al sol, nunca va a tener la misma conexión.
They
He's
lose the
saying that, so
connection.
yeah, exactly. They lose the connection. It was made for preservation. Indoor lighting was made to preserve plants, but it's not really meant for them to thrive.
To flourish. Yes,
Exactly,
exactly. So
exactly.
for people that need to store genetics inside, it can keep them alive.
Correct.
But if you really want to see a plant taken to the truest potential, it should be in connection with the
Yes.
soil and the environment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. You guys are doing everything that I have wanted to platform. So I'm really thankful that Carlos brought you guys over today, you know,
Yes.
because everything you're speaking about is what we try to do in Mendocino, California, you know. So we're 12-hour flight away, but we're doing the same practices, and I really appreciate it, you know.
Hey, un
Oh,
momentico,
thank you.
traducime para
Thanks
los
to you.
latinos también, para que los escuchen y sepan lo que
Que él
dice.
está muy agradecido de lo que estamos diciendo, que gracias a Carlitos, que, o sea, a él le gusta mucho porque ellos tratan de hacer
Yo
lo
te lo
mismo.
traduzco también porque yo también te lo quiero decir. Que queremos agradecerlos a ustedes por todo lo que hacen por la planta, por la mata. Es una pasión y se nota. ¿Ya? Eso es lo que él está tratando de expresar. Las gracias por todo lo que hace.
And we are so grateful, first of all, with the plant, because the plant unites all of us, and it's a lovely plant. So that we need to church to the world, because this is that the plant give it to us, so we have to give it to the world.
No, y gracias a ustedes por difundir este mensaje. Y no somos solo nosotros, hay un grupo de luchadores en Colombia, que la historia de Colombia no fue fácil. La planta fue satanizada y hubieron muchas muertes, muchas masacres a base de esta planta. Y todo,
Déjame
dale,
para que no.
dale.
He wants to thank you and thank us for delivering this message, because there's a lot of people here in Colombia that have suffered just to get to where we are today.
Yeah.
A lot of people have died just to get the plant to where we are today with it.
That's
So,
true. There's been a lot of sacrifice, you know,
yeah,
and
of
it's
course.
overlooked, you know, because some people that come into the market today, they don't know what went into getting it here. So
Correct.
it's important to pay homage to people like you that have been doing it for 20 years, you know, that's amazing. And in an environment that's not legal and not easy to cultivate, you know.
Correct.
So we really appreciate you guys for everything you do.
So we appreciate that we can send the message to all over the world because I think our mission is get free the plant.
Yeah.
Hay que liberar
it's
la
all our mission.
planta.
Es la
Hay que
misión,
liberarla.
es la misión que todos tenemos en
Y a
común.
todos nuestros
Yes.
muertos
Sí.
en Colombia por las plantas sagradas, por el cannabis. Esto es por ellos. La lucha
Amén.
comenzó cuando empezaron a satanizar la planta.
No, let's para que le
Amen.
pase.
Amen.
Amén.
And he wants to dedicate this to all the people who have fallen for the plant, fighting to get to the plant, you know, to get the plant to where it is today.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think that's the best thing that's ever been said on the podcast. And that's
Yes,
the
sir.
best place to end it. So
Amen.
thank you guys for joining us. We
Oh,
appreciate
Thanks
you.
to you. And,
Yeah,
and
everybody
you're
go follow
welcome
Canna
in-
Organic at Canna Organic on Instagram.
That
Is there
was
anything
fire.
you want to say to anybody before we end this?
Hey, thanks people for believing the plan, for keep going always and believing that we can be free and spread all the love with the plan.
Este es el principio de lo que pronto será un imperio por la liberación de las plantas sagradas. Sigamos luchando, si saben, no
Colombia.
paren, multipliquen siempre. Colombia,
Amén.
Canna Organic estilo.
Amen.
Couldn't have said it better myself. That's it. Thank you for joining us. Another Hot Dabs Sessions live from Colombia. Shout out Carlos Vives. Shout out everybody that made it possible.
Gracias,
100% humidity.
Bien.
Dripping in a pool of
Aquí
sweat.
estamos.
Might melt, but we did it. Hopefully this saved. We'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey, gracias,
gracias.
gonorrea. Dígale que gracias,
We
gonorrea.
made it. Thank you.
He says, thank you, gonorrea.